What's up guys, Matt here coming at you with another quick video. Going to be taking a look at this Mazz Designs Cheat Code chassis build that I just finished up. How y'all like my little Walmart Lazy Susan? Just playing around, but I wanted to show you real quick some of these CVDs that we've got in case you guys didn't know. So this here is a stock dog bone. All right, so you can see I tried to lay it out about the angle that you can maybe get for your steering out of this dog bone, but it separates. You know, if you go very far, it's gonna break. It's gonna come apart and break. These are the RC all-wheel drive. You don't really gain much of anything out of those, and we've had several of them break on us. This set here is the Mofo. These are probably the strongest at the moment. You gain just a little bit of steering out of those. And then these are the Dlux Fab. And I wanted to show you guys these because look at that. It's like infinite steering angle. So obviously other parts are going to restrict you before you can turn that far. But these things turn, I mean, it's insane. So you know, at some point you're going to get into some binding, but that's just crazy that they will turn that far. So these definitely allow the most steering angle. Now these here are actually some that they are clearancing out because they're going to try to beef them up. You can see these are very thin, and I think there's been several people breaking them. They're saying that these are not really recommended for high-powered vehicles, or probably my driving period. But I bought 3 or 4 sets just to try them out because that's nuts. So I'm definitely going to put these in like my Bronco, you know, because I'm still running a stock motor in there. Like, I just haven't had time to change it. You know, I'm going to use it on the indoor course a lot, so having that really tight turning radius will be nice, because my new course is very tight. And that's kind of one reason why I built this the way I did. So this is a little shorter than what I've been building lately. You know, I've been running on the rocks outside, and I've been building stuff like this. And, you know, this does really well on the big rock, and it's a lot of fun. But on my course indoors, and as soon as I get done with this video, I'm probably going to be on a little break, guys, because I'm going to get that course done. So starting off, first things first, they say first impressions mean everything, right? So this thing was boxed up in this box, man. I mean, beautiful. Like, I feel like I'm unboxing some high dollar cologne or something. Like, I should be going taking a shower and getting ready to put on some nice cologne or something. But so the chassis rails were tacked down by these boogers. Somebody flicked their booger in there, and then no. But so the chassis was tacked down in the bottom there, both rails, so they weren't rattling around, beating on stuff. You get stickers. I even got a scale banner, which is really cool. I'm going to put all this stuff up hopefully on the course once I get it rolling. I mean, look at this. Like, this thing is unbelievable. So packaged very well. It even came with an alcohol wipe for your plastics. So like, this has some beautiful printed plastic, side skirts, skid, all that, and comes with an alcohol wipe, so you can wipe those plastics off when you go to mount your electronics. And it's a really good idea to use that because there was a lot of black stuff and junk that came off of there when I did use that wipe, and then everything stuck really well. So that's awesome that they even give you that. So this mounts by magnet. It's one of the best magnet mount setups I've had, because you can see the magnet sits kind of recessed down in there just a little bit. Probably would have been a little bit more if I hadn't got crazy with the glue, but that kind of keeps it from sliding and knocking off. So when it's on there, it holds a little better. So my killer chassis had them in the front, but it didn't have anything on the rear, so I had to just kind of Velcro the rear. But that's really nice. Fits perfect. And I mean, when I drop this thing on there, if you line it up, you know, your side skirts, you kind of have to make sure they fall into the little grooves there. But man, it just clips on perfect and super clean. So this body, I've really just shot some paint to it really quick because I needed a body for this thing, and I've had this for like 3 weeks and haven't been able to get to it, so I got in a hurry with the body. But anyways, so this chassis is freaking sweet. All right, the main thing about it, in my opinion, is it gives you the option to mount your upper links in 6 different spots here. So that allows so much tuning. You can kind of see it a little bit better there. I've got mine mounted in the upper hole. I am running a link riser in the rear. And we're gonna go over kind of the parts on this because every time I don't, I have a bunch of people asking me, hey, what'd you do? What'd you use here? Could you go over that build? So we're just gonna talk about it as quick as I can, all right? So I use the stock axle housings, pretty much the only thing that's stock in here. And if you guys haven't checked these out yet, I'll put a link in the description. They're on Amazon. You need one or 10. All right. So stock axle housings, I just like how the plastic slides, honestly. We got the Ccxrc diff covers. Tony was nice enough to hook us up with those. We've got the Injora internal sprung shocks on the front with the force droop setup, so it keeps the front end pulled down. We got my Trill long travel oil filled shocks on the rear, keeps it super smooth. We've got, I think these are the Mofo steering links. No, these are the Ccxrc steering links also. So Ccxrc steering links on there. We've got Mofo brass high clearance links. We've got 50 millimeter in the front, 58.5 in the rear. When you put this together, you do want to flip your ball ends on one end of those because the way you mount them in, they're not pinched. So you don't want the side that will pop off showing on the outer edge, if that makes any sense. We got an Injora metal drive shaft in the front just because I had one that fit stock plastic one in the rear because that's what fit. The cool thing about this skid is it's reversible. So basically if you want to flip this around, put your motor in the rear, you can do that without even taking your skid or anything apart. You just take your motor screws or your transmission screws loose, spin it around and remount it. Now I did have a little problem trying to get my screws started into the side of this skid. There's 3 on each side. They were insanely tough. I was using this screw kit. I tried these screws. Well, not those screws, those are huge. I tried these screws and a bunch that I had in some bags, and man, none of them would just really bite in there good. They were a pain, but once I got them in, they were fine. And then the top, the one that goes down into the transmission up here, I actually could not get that one to start. I took my little hand tapping tool, drill, whatever you want. I don't know what they're called, the actual name for it, but I was going to tap the hole, broke the bit off in there. Like just as soon as I started turning it in there, it broke off. So I don't even have that screw in there because I didn't want to deal with taking these out to flip the skid back around. So it'll be fine. It's not going anywhere. Anyways, those were not fun, but other than that, super clean, easy build. We have the Furitek micro Komodo motor with a Lizard ESC. I was out of my micro receivers when I built this. I've got some in now, of course, but I just put a receiver to my Noble in there. It's not real heavy and it has no antenna or anything, so it looks pretty clean. This does have the hot racing overdrive transmission. This is the first one I've ran that in, so I wasn't sure what to expect, so I went ahead and put the overdrive in the front as well. Some of the Ccxrc gears. which are the same as the Trill 213s or whatever. I put those in the front, and this thing has mad overdrive now. Like, it's crazy, but it works on my indoor course because it helps with turning tight. Like, you'll see, it really drags the rear. We have some of the Trill wideners with the barrel wheel nuts or whatever on it, and that's pretty much it. Got some Trill wheels with the hard part crawler rings on there. These are not actually the wheels, probably not the wheels I'm gonna run on this. Honestly, I was gonna build a set. I have some Mazz rings as well. I was gonna powder them, haven't decided what color. I kind of like that, honestly, with this, but I don't know. We'll see. But he offers some really cool wheel rings. Also, I have them everywhere, and I've been using them. I think those are his also. Underneath, I put the black stock one over top. But I would say it's between this and my Hard Park RC chassis at this point. But having those upper link mounts is really nice. And then we have the Agfrc servo on there. I'll link everything in the description on this thing. Just want to show it off real quick. Somebody's going to fuss at me because I'm not running it. I'm just spinning this Lazy Susan around and making you guys sick. But everybody always asks, could you do a breakdown of that truck? So this is the first video. This one's really shining in. So we're just going to talk about, you know, everything on it and go from there. So we'll get some running in with this thing. You guys let me know what you think about it. Oh, this battery real quick. I love these things. They are a 70C, 140C burst. So anybody that don't know, that is your punch, like your kick. You know, when you punch it, the higher that 70C, the higher that number, the more punch it has. A lot of the stock ones are like a 20, 30C or whatever. And you can really tell the difference between the 70 and the others. So these pack a good punch to them. And for like this build here, now they come with a very short battery lead. So if your ESC is way over here, you're gonna need an extension. Just know that. But for custom builds like this, where I've kind of tucked the wires away, I have my lead right there so I can just plug it straight in. And there's not the big loop of wires hanging around there, so it works really well. And for my battery, I just Velcroed it down to this piece that comes with the chassis. So all of these pieces come with it. This one, I didn't even put the other screws in yet. It's just dangling, but anyways, I think that's got it now. So let's run it. So the thing you're gonna notice right off the bat is how insanely loud this thing is. And I pulled this transmission apart like twice while building it, thinking it was in the transmission. You know, it's the first time I've ran this hot racing overdrive transmission. And I greased it and everything, checked it, no issues. So I ran it here, and when I started working on this video, I was like, oh my gosh, this is just horrible. So I pulled it apart again, and nothing, no issues. So I swapped the motor out from the micro Komodo to a Mofo micro, the nano that I had. And you'll see at the end, I show it totally changed the sound of it. So I know the micro Komodo is just known to be loud, but this one is like insanely loud. So I don't know. I'm gonna have to maybe try to put a pancake motor in there or something. After running that thing, it's so quiet. I just kind of want that peace and quiet, you know. But as far as this chassis goes, one thing I noticed, this truck does inclines really well, even though it's not a super long rig. You know, a lot of times the longer rigs, you know, of course, a 10 scale can do stuff that these can't, right? So the bigger we go, a lot of times, the better they are. Not always, but this chassis, the way it's set up now, is really good. And that really excites me because I wanted this for the tight areas, indoor. Like I said, I'm working on my course. And just like the FMS, you know, I really love that truck, the 2-speed and all that. But it's really not going to be spectacular on my indoor course. You know, the high gear helps out sometimes launching up hills and stuff, but being as big as it is, like it's not the greatest. It's not the most fun on an indoor course to me. So this chassis it's laid out really well. Gives you the link mounting options, which make a huge difference, and everything's just so clean on it. I'm loving this chassis. I love this build, and overall I think it's very impressive. You guys definitely, it's a lot of money, but I think it's worth it, just for the clean layout and the performance of it. You'll see it side hills really well also, and it's not crazy wide. It is widened a bit, but it's not like 18 scale width, and it still side hills really well. So overall, I think I may put some overdrive in the rear end of this just to kind of catch it up a little bit. It has like I said, so much overdrive to the front that if I put a little in the rear, it would increase the wheel speed when I need it. Like a couple little spots on my indoor course, it just don't have the wheel speed to get up. And so if I added that little bit in the rear and wasn't dragging it quite as much, that might help. So probably going to do that, but loving it. And definitely plan to do more with it and update on it. I got a little tuning to do, a little trimming on the body, and this thing will be a flat out beast. You can see there on that hill, it just couldn't quite get the speed to get up that. Really dragging that front end don't help it either. So maybe increasing the rear will get us a little better chance of launching up stuff like that. And honestly, that's where that 2-speed in the SCX24, I know everybody's tired of hearing about that, but that's where it's a game changer. Like, I can launch up that no problem with that thing. So it is what it is. All right, so real quick, I was going to show you guys, I've pulled this transmission apart I don't know how many times, thinking there was something with it that was so loud, but it turns out it was this really loud micro Komodo. Now, these are known to be loud. All of mine are kind of loud. They're even worse when you throw a Lexan body on there, but this one is the loudest I've seen. It's almost unbearable. So I put this Mofo motor here that I've had some trouble with this motor. See how it does every now and then. And it's not anything with the ESC, because I can direct swap a motor in there and the ESC's fine. The motor just, if it's under any stress at all, it does that. So, but it runs sometimes, and I just wanted to see if that was the issue. And you can tell this motor is much more quiet. So nothing wrong in there. It's just a really loud motor. So I don't know. We're gonna figure something out. I don't have any more micro motors on hand right now, so we'll order one or we'll do something different. But this thing, unfortunately, I just couldn't get much running. I popped the drive shaft off. I would have had 2 metal drive shafts, but I had this Injora set I ordered. The rear one showed up with just an ear broke off out of the package. It was just broke. So I'm sending that back to Amazon, and I'll change this rear one eventually. But then I broke the CVD. So this is the Mofo CVD. Broke that as well. And I had it in a heck of a bind. But I also put this in the exact same bind, and it came out fine. Now, I'm not saying this thing's tougher than the SCX24. A lot of people were harping on me saying I sold out, and I'm a paid spokesperson for FMS now apparently, but because they're sending me one truck that I'm going to give away. Anyways, I'm not ranting on that, but my point is all of these things break. These 24 scales, they're so small, the parts are so little. Like, I don't even go out without expecting to break it. I break one every time I go out almost. So my point is they all break. So just whatever you get, expect things to break. Now, the good thing with the SCX24 right now is we have unlimited amounts of parts, and parts are a little hard to get for these right now. I'm not gonna lie, you know, MofoRC is it, but hopefully eventually parts will be more available for those. But you know, that's what makes this so great, is I can get on Amazon and get whatever I need tomorrow, you know. Anyways, back to this chassis. I absolutely love this thing. It runs really well. This being set up like it is, I can't wait to get more time, get my indoor course finished for one, and really put it to work indoors, because I think it's gonna do really well there. But this chassis, you can build it for whatever you want, and it's going to be good. Nice, solid option. I think they're around $100, so it's pretty pricey, but works really well. And I used E6000 to glue these magnets in. That's what they recommend, and they work great. You know, the magnets, they are what they are. They're nice and clean, but I pop them off a lot when I get in rough spots, because I put these things in some crazy binds, and you can see just no matter how good magnets are, they don't always hold. So I definitely got a little tuning to do on this, but overall an absolute beast of a chassis. This and my hard part, hands down my favorite chassis for these at the moment. So just the layout so clean, everything's beautiful, 3D printed parts are perfect. It's really good. So you guys let me know what you think. I appreciate it, everybody. I'll link everything in the description for this build. Peace.